Hello everyone, I hope you are all well. So before you continue watching this video, I just want to quickly mention that I have marked your answers to the exit pass question from last lesson. So please go and have a look at that if you haven't already before you carry on watching this video. So in this lesson, we are going to learn how to use the area rule to calculate the area of a triangle. So the success criteria gives you the steps you need to take in order to do this. So by the end of the lesson, you should be able to label the sides and angles of any triangle. You will then be able to substitute the correct lengths and angle into the formula, and then you will be able to work out the area using a calculator. So the area rule is used to calculate the area of a triangle. Now you will have come across the formula A equals a half length times breadth to work out the area of a triangle. Well, this is another method using the sine function, which is more easier to use for more complicated looking triangles. So this is the formula here, the area rule. A equals a half AB sine C. This formula is given in the exam in the formula sheet, so you don't need to remember this, but you do need to know when to use it and how to use it. So when do we use this formula? Well, when we are given two sides, the length of two sides on a triangle and the angle between those two sides, we can calculate the area of any triangle using this formula. Okay. So the first thing you guys need to know before you use this formula is, as explained in the success criteria, labeling the sides and angles of any triangle. So that's what we're going to look at first. So here I've got a triangle. Now this works for any triangle. The first thing you're going to do is label the angles with capital letters. We're going to use the capital letters A, B, and C. I'm going to label this angle A, this angle B, and this angle C. We're then going to label the sides using the small letters A, B, and C. And when we do this, we need to make sure that when we've got our angle A, then the side A would be opposite the angle A. Okay, so this side here is opposite angle A. So then we're going to label this side A. I'm using the small letter A. Same with this side here, because this side is opposite the angle B, this side will then be labeled as B. And then finally, this side here, because it's opposite the angle C, we label this side with the small letter C. Okay, and that is how you label the sides and angles of any triangle. So we're now going to look at two examples. These examples are in your course notes on page 39, section 12.1a. So here we've got, in the first example, we've got a triangle. We know the length of two sides. One is 10 centimeters and the other is 7 centimeters. And the angle in between those two sides is 82 degrees. So then we can use our formula A equals a half AB sine C. Okay, so before we use this formula, we first need to label our triangle. So I'm going to label this angle A, this angle B, and this angle C. Then we're going to label our sides. So this side here, that's 7 centimeters. Because this side is opposite angle A, this side will be labeled as A. The side width, that's 10 centimeters. Because that's opposite angle B, we're going to label this as B. And then this final side here, we're going to label this side with C. Okay, so now we've labeled this. We're now going to go on to our second step in our success criteria, which is substituting in the correct numbers into our formula. So in this formula, if you've noticed already, AB are small letters. So AB are the lengths of the two sides of our triangle. So then we've got a half times 7 times 10 times sine C. Now C is in capital letter, so that's referring to the angle C, which is 82 degrees. So then we're writing down sine 82. Okay, so we've got a half times 7 times 10 times sine 82. We're then going to work this out in our calculator. So once you've put that into your calculator, you should get 34.659 ... because it continues. And when you're not told, because we've got a decimal answer and you're not told to how many decimal places we need to round it to, we always write our final answer rounded to 2 decimal places. So then that becomes 34.66. And because we are working with area, our units are then centimeters squared. Okay. The second example in your notes, we've got the triangle PQR. So we've been already told what the angles are called, PQ and R. We now just need to label the sides. And because in this example they've used PQ and R, we need to do the same with our sides. We're going to use small PQ and R to label the sides. So again, this side here, that's 12 kilometers. We are going to label this side with the letter P because it's opposite the angle P. Same with this side here, that's 14 kilometers. We're going to label this as Q because it's opposite the angle Q. And then finally, this side here, that's going to be R. Okay, now we know that our formula is A equals a half AB sine C. Now, because in this diagram we've used P, Q, and R, well then we can just change our letters to a half because AB are the lengths of the two sides. And we know that from this diagram we're given the length of P and Q, then our formula becomes a half PQ sine R because we're given the angle R. Okay, we then now substitute the numbers into our formula. So we've got a half times 12 times 14 times sine 54 because our angle R is 54 degrees. So then once you put that into your calculator, you should get the answer 67.957 ... because it goes on. And then because we're not told how many decimal places we need to round it to, then we just round it to 2 decimal places. So that then becomes 67.96. Now because this time in this diagram we're working with kilometers, our final answer will have the units kilometer squared because it's area we're dealing with. Okay, so that is how you use the area formula to work out the area of a triangle. So it's important that before you start using the formula, you always label your triangle, the angles and the sides correctly, so that you know what numbers to put into your formula. Okay.